cash. For example, when I had the bills to do with so much expectations and what's the word? Sense of entitlement. If I had approached Bolare to ask him for money, he probably has a lot of people asking you have. So they don't want you to become another one of their problems, asking them for money. So there are people you shouldn't ask money from, but you should rather tap into something else that they have. So when I approach such people, my angle is always that I don't need money from you. And the guidance that I've gotten from such people, way more than any amount of money they would have given me. Anytime I had confusions in my business life, I would call on such people and seek their opinion. What should I do? Is it wise to do this? And you should trust such people when they tell you, don't do this and don't do that. They are not perfect, but they have seen a lot. And as youth, we should be able to have such people in our circles to fall on them for advice. And that has been one of my key strategies. So through Bolare, a lot of things happened for me. I also had the privilege to get endorsement from Akon for my watches, and that also helped to elevate my brand. And then for those people who don't really know exactly what I do, I can boastfully say that there is nowhere in the entire world where we come to the wristwatch industry where you can watch into a premium watch shop and then design one watch for yourself and have it made for you within 3 or 4 days. To identify often is that they end up spending more or building full of big men. So I had my proposal from one door to the next door to the next door to the next door. So when the day ends and I come back home, then I think, did I actually make watches today or I was out looking for help? So the help, what am I seeking help for if it is not for the product? So I had to do the reverse, stop searching for help and focus on building my brand and my product. When you build value, the value would attract the right people that it needs. There are banks that I have approached before that didn't want to listen to me. And now I see their emails offering something and I ignore the mail because what they are offering, I don't even need it now. So when you focus on building value, leave people alone. Nobody owes you anything. When we know big men, we are very quick to call them wicked people because the remedy we think we'll get from them is not coming. As for Bolare, he's very wicked. He will not mind you, he will not help you. Nobody owes you anything, nobody sent you. So if you are on your journey, please focus. Because I changed my mindset that I knew where I was going before I had my dream and my passion to build watches that would play a strong role in the global market. I didn't know these people. They were not the reasons why I created my dream. So for me, they are either with me or out of my way. And the thing about big men, I like to talk to the youth a lot. If you allow them to use their status, they will use you left and right. If you allow big men to use their status, somebody calls you and says that, oh, bring your product to Ashaman, my boss is there. He's a very big man, come. You will spend your whole day going to Ashaman to go and make some money and ignore the people who are not big men but who would actually buy your product. So don't let these people use their names to toss you around. Because I can tell you for a fact that the places where I searched help, I was seeking help without creating a valuable product first, and I never got the help. But after I built a valuable product, I got the help. And help that would actually come to you, or your destiny helper, as people like to call it, they won't stress you. The people who say, oh, let me see what I can do, call me tomorrow, they won't pick your calls. But the right people who the universe will direct to help you, it doesn't come with any stress at all. So some of the principles that I went by, setting my goals, and when it comes to setting of goals, there's something deeper that I found. If I set a target for myself, I moved my priority from just achieving the target to being concerned about the human that I am becoming while chasing that goal. I don't know if you get the difference. And I became more concerned about the human that I was becoming while searching for my goals. If you want to build a top-level company, you can never instill values in a company that you don't have in yourself as a founder. So you need to look at yourself, build value in yourself. If you are somebody who is kind-hearted, you will be generous and kind to your customers. You can never be a crooked person and create a prestigious or rightful company. So you can't instill the values that you don't have in yourself into a company. So this is one of the things that I added to my principles. And another thing was that if you believe in your journey, you believe in the universe. A lot of things that came to me as no. Anywhere I went and I failed and I got no, I decided to view what I used to call rejections as redirections. So every time I encountered rejections, I took the alternative. And I can proudly say that 100%, every time I got redirected to things that were meant for me. And I actually sit and wonder, wow, so what if this person had said yes and given me that thing? I would have been messed up by now. So I am a strong believer in the universe and for the fact that if your intentions are clean and pure, the universe will never betray you. So when a no comes to you, don't let it break you down. They are usually redirections to something else. So that way you can condition your mind to not let these rejections crush you down. Another thing you should also take very seriously is adding value to yourself. When I started, I just sold a watch. I used to work at the airport for a hotel, where I stand and hold a placard for the hotel, looking for customers for the hotel. So they send my food in a takeaway pack. I find where cars are parked to squat and eat. And I was doing that for a hotel for some time. And I was earning 500 cedis. That's at 2015. I was the least paid person in the company. I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was. Until one day I was going to work, I bought a book for the first time that I bought a book. I never even really liked reading. So I was reading this book called Business Secrets from the Bible. And then, I was getting this wind of confidence and I had an urge to try something. And when you have an idea, please take note, the person you talk to about your idea, the listener of your idea, would actually determine if your idea will go anywhere or not. When I had the plan to resign from my job and start my business, there was a guy doing the same business for another hotel. I called him and I said, Charlie, we've been here for 3 years now, making 500 cedis. We don't even have a bank account. We don't have savings. And it means that the next 3 years we'll still be here. Before the month even ends, we've borrowed money from people left and right. But I had a dream to be financially stable, not rich, to be financially stable by 30 years. And as at that time, I was probably like 25 or something, and I said, wait, I don't have much time. I have to move now. I don't know what's on the other side, but I'll rather try than be here. Because I know that for the past 3 years, I've not saved any money, and logic only tells me that the next 3 years, I'll be there and still save no money. So let me rather take the bold step and venture into the unknown. And this guy, he didn't just decline, but he actively and very aggressively tried to convince me not to move. And he always said that, Charlie, the money is not good, but where are you going? There are no jobs there. Let's be here like that. And I said, Charlie, I'm an all or nothing guy. There's no in between. I either go very hard and fail very hard, but not here. I usually don't put the salary on my employment advertisements when I'm doing it. But one time I did, and I put a salary of about 5,000 cedis on there. So I got a lot of applications. And one message came to me on my WhatsApp, and the person said, Charlie, I'm the right person for this job. Not just because I know you, but because I am the right person for the job. I went to check the DP, and it was the same friend who aggressively tried to stop me from moving. And depends on who you are talking to, want to go to. I'll only work with people who are already there. They say you will do better than your peers if you roll with people who are doing better than you. They've seen too much trouble from people, and they can't trust you enough to let you around them. So they rather just keep you away. And it's all about trading value. Don't be a mentee or somebody who only calls people because you need something. If I'm always calling Bulare because I need a favor, I think there's a time he will see my call and oh, this guy, he wants something again. Because you don't give any value, you are always trying to leave you behind. When people like Kobe calls me, I could ignore a lot of calls, but when I see his call, I think it's something important. Because he wouldn't call me if it's not important or just call to say some foolish things. And every time we sit down to talk, we leave the gathering with an idea of the next step. We don't go and sit somewhere and talk about things and leave feeling like we've wasted our time. Every meeting that we have, we know the next step to do, and it always elevates our life. So please add value to yourself. Add value to yourself where when people see your calls, they have to pick, instead of just calling to take all the time. Just like how I started from my first time I bought a watch, I didn't plan to enter this business, if people are wondering. When I resigned from my job, I had no other job, I had a plan. I believed in myself, that I was very multi-talented. And if I resigned and stayed home and I had time on my hands, there is no way I wouldn't find something to do with my time. That was the only plan I had. So I stayed home, tried some businesses that failed very well. I would go to Circle and buy suits from the Abochi people, the Bend Down Boutique. Oh, you know that you've been going there. And I refurbished these suits very well and approached my friends and tried to make some money from that. It didn't go very well. I wanted to try developing concepts for businesses for their commercials because I believed I had very good concepts. Didn't go very well. There were some guys playing the guitar on the streets. I called them and I said, Charlie, let's make some business out of this. So what I usually would do is that if I realize that your birthday is around the corner on social media, I go onto your platform and I look for your friends. Then I DM your friends and tell them that, oh, this guy's birthday is around the corner. We have a great idea that he would really love. So what we actually do is just take the person's name, these boys will compose music, and then we set you up when you are somewhere having lunch, the boys pop up with the guitar and then they start singing, their cameras, and you know, it was an experience we were selling to people on their birthdays. But Ganaman time, we can have a plan to start this by 12 o'clock, the boys will show up at 5. It was becoming very challenging. And the guys were not only interested in making money out of their talent, but they wanted the fame and the hype that comes with it. But I was not interested in that. I wanted to make money with them. So that also fell apart. One day I walked into a shop to buy a wristwatch for the first time in my life. I never liked wristwatches. And I had 50 cedis, but they said the watch was 150. So I said, why would a common wristwatch be 150 Ghana cedis? Common wristwatch. So I left and bought a watch for 50 cedis, and when I took a picture of the watch, somebody showed interest and said, oh, nice watch, are you selling it? And I said, yeah. The guy came and bought the watch, I made some profit. Then I was like, wait, what if I sold 2 of these watches? What if I sold 3 or I sold 4? I was doing the numbers game, calculating the numbers, and I had that passion that now I can make business out of this. So I started, called the guy back and bought 2 more watches, sold the 2 and bought 3, sold 3 and bought 4. Then I started selling watches from car parks to people's offices here and there. But I did not end there. When I talk about adding value, I didn't end there. I wanted to do something more. Now I realized that there were other people who were selling watches, but they were selling other things like shoes and bags and perfume. So I wanted to create a niche for myself. That I want to be the guy who sells only watches, nothing else. Even though I needed the money, if you buy a watch, to be very stubborn or hard-headed. So I continued that, adding value. And I realized that there were people who had good watches, but their leather straps were spoiled. I went to Cantamanto, apprenticed for a shoemaker for about 3 months, and I started buying tools into my own room to learn how to make leather straps for watches. After acquiring that, I realized people had watches that were faulty. They didn't want to buy a new watch. Now let me learn how to fix people's watches. It's just about value addition to myself. I still got close to the roadside watch repair fund. So it was about adding value to myself little by little, until I got to a point after 3 or 4 years and I said, no, I think I know about watches inside out. I could break down 10 watches, take their components and form another watch. I said, no, let me just try and make one watch with my name on it, Caveman. The reason behind the name Caveman is so value and value do you carry? So please, first of all, focus on building value in yourself and stop chasing people for help. After you build the value, all the right people will come around you. That's how the universe works. Before I sign off, I get this question a lot from people by, like, how do you know? Go to Tema station and you pick a truck. All you know is that you are going to Tema station. You don't think whether there will be an accident on the way or whether the car will stop on the way. You're just ready to go to Tema station. You get into this truck, people will stop on the way and get down. These are people, take it like your circle. These are people who are not going to the same destination as you, and they will get down on the way, they will fail. They can't go on anymore. You continue in the car. You enter potholes, but you don't say that, oh, because of the potholes, stop, let me get down here. You enter the worst potholes, you continue in the trotro, you know you are going to Tema station. People will make noise in the car, they'll fight in the car. The journey is never a smooth one. You still continue because you are going to Tema station. Enjoy the journey so much, despite all the potholes, that you can put headphones in, and then finally when you get to Tema station, they would call you the boss, you are here. And that's how I see the journey of entrepreneurship. That started like 300 years ago. The people who started the companies are not alive to see where the companies are now. They're not even alive to see the apex of the companies. I don't think I should be alive to see the apex of my company. I just want to be the one to set the ball rolling, set structures in place, so that when the company gets to where it does, I'll be somewhere smiling that I set the ball rolling. So please, when you start a business, have a generational mindset and know that you are not supposed to see the apex of it. Just start and have that mindset to build something for the generations to follow. And don't be in a rush to look rich. This happens too much. We see people, you allow the philanthropists and social media business people to give you pressure. Somebody is flying in a private jet, you start feeling like a failure. You also want to do that. Just be focused on your generational goal, and then eventually you will get there. But I can confidently say that when I started my business years ago, I had no money at all, but I had a lot of time on my hands. But now, after so much dedication, so much hard work, and all the troubles that I have been through, I can very confidently tell you that I have no time on my hands now, and I still have no money. Thank you very much.
Hey.